So many years ago, my mom got into a really bad accident in Taiwan. Basically, a large company was cutting corners, making one mover do what was clearly a two-person job. The poor mover ended up getting hurt, dropping his shipment down a flight of stairs, landing right on my mom. There was a lawsuit against the company, a lot of medical bills, and just surgery after surgery. One time when we were waiting for this one surgery for hours, feeling super bored and scared, I started looking around and I noticed how weird it was that the hospital used these very green blankets. They reminded me of green screens, so curious, I looked up green screen tutorials. It's something I've always wanted to learn, and after watching a few, I asked my mom if she wanted to help me with an idea I had, and together we made this.
Show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess.
And this wasn't a genius idea or anything, and even though my mom was still scared going into her surgery, seeing her face light up from this silly creation just meant so much to me and to all of us during this difficult time. My mom is much better now after years of recovery, but the reason I wanted to share this story is because it demonstrates my greatest passions in life. I love learning, I love making stuff, and I love sharing that with others. I don't think I would have discovered these passions if it wasn't for my family. I mean, for some context, this was during a time when I was buried under student debt. I was trying to graduate college while balancing 3 jobs. My dad just started dealing with a chronic illness, and my mom, despite the smiles she puts on for us, we knew she was barely hanging on. She spent years in a wheelchair with constant pains in her knees, and she couldn't do any of the things she once enjoyed. She struggled with depression, anxiety, and just this unbearable anger towards the people who did this to her. And with the medical bills, lawyer fees, and the loans we needed to take out every day, it just felt like we were on the verge of drowning. But yet, they danced. And yet they laughed. Life can feel like an endless series of problems, but sinking into that hurt isn't gonna make it any easier. It's optimism, creativity, and this silliness that gets us through it. That's what my family taught me. So these aren't just passions I have. They're not just what I want to tie my career to. They've always been how I survive and navigate this world. Anyway, as many of you may already know, I create these videos and projects for YouTube part-time. During the day, I work as an interaction designer at Google. And for the last 4 years, I've given most of my weekends and time after work to work on this. In all honesty, this hasn't been easy. As much as I try to establish boundaries for this hobby or side hustle, whatever you want to call it, to balance this work with my main job and my personal life, I'm constantly finding myself needing to make unhealthy compromises. I've never really talked about any of this because it's kind of embarrassing to admit that I'm living an unhealthy lifestyle, but that's what it was. The hustle culture that you see online to always produce maximum output, always work and grind. What they don't tell you is that there is no healthy version of that lifestyle. Either you're compromising on your own physical or mental well-being, or you're giving less of yourself to the people in your life who matter the most. That's what I was doing, and I'm tired of it. It's time to stop. This is hard because for as long as I can remember, this has been my dream, to work at Google. This was not just my dream, but our dream. It was that or Apple, I guess. I worked so hard for the last decade of my life to just be here working with some of the most creative people I've ever met. Every day, I get to create amazing things with amazing people. So I genuinely love this job, but there are dream jobs and careers, and then there are these rare opportunities like this to do things that no longer feel like a job. When I first started making videos on YouTube, I just did it because it was fun. It fed my soul in a way that nothing else did, and I never thought it would get here. I never thought it could make money or lead me to so many new relationships, adventures, and opportunities. But as more of you watched and encouraged me, it became clear that this wasn't just a hobby. It was the thing I can no longer ignore, the thing I wish I had more time for all the time. Now, it's clear that my weekends just aren't enough anymore, so it's time for a change. Right now, it's 7 o'clock on February 21st, 2025, and today is my last day at Google. Starting now, I'm a full-time creator and independent designer. Not everyone gets to quit their job and pursue their dreams, especially during this economy. So I want to thank all of you so much for giving me this opportunity. I couldn't have found the confidence to do any of this if it wasn't for you. And I feel so lucky to get to take you all along with me for this journey. But to be very honest, I am so scared. I've never not had a job before. Walking away from Google's salary, benefits, the stability that comes with working at a place like that. And here's the thing, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I don't know what this path has in store for me or even what I'm gonna do on Monday. But here's what I do know. For the last few years of working on these videos, I got to learn so much about storytelling, filmmaking, and design. I've made more things I'm proud of than I've ever made. I got to share that with so many of you and even inspire some of you on your own creative journeys.
Inspired by Scott Yujan.
That's just more than anything I could have ever dreamt of. So moving forward, I'm just gonna keep doing exactly that. Thank you for getting me here, and thanks for watching.
今天是外婆生日，我换上复古西装，在家外婆开着拉风的古董枕头。